Not to it, but we get into it. A little bit more white to add to my base. Also, my microphone's off, and I've been talking to myself. Alright, yeah, I probably should have fixed that. Damn, this shit done came loose, man. I gotta give me some more brushes. Again, these are coming loose. Yeah, the stains. this spot here. Yeah, man, I missed a couple of spots in here. All right, so I'm going back to dry brushing just for the base because I want to clean this up really well. And some paint right up in here in this pocket, right down here in this region. I don't know where these crates meet. Needs some paint. Okay. Dust the floor of this bad boy one more time too. Let this color build up over time. This is why I like this particular brush, because this particular brush does do a pretty decent job of covering, laying those layers of paint down that I need. Now I'll probably end up using this brush to lay down my layer of gray as well. Right up in between here. Again, a lot of this is gonna get hit back over with some gray. I just really want to have a good base coat of white to work with. So when I actually lay my colors down, I got some good shades to work with. That green could have came out better. The bullets came out okay. Like the shell casings came out alright. That's about the coverage and the shade I'm looking for, is this nice color of white. See if I can get right up in here. I probably could use a smaller brush to really build up my color in between that crate there. I got enough. I got enough. Let me get here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush this all green, but I'm going to come back and detail the buckles, the buttons, all the things that really matter. First and foremost, and the thing people don't talk about is cleaning your damn brushes. These bad boys still have green in them, and I kind of hate that. I ain't gonna lie, I really hate that that brush still has some green in it. Let that rest. All right, right back. I'm going to change my water out. Alright, I am back. Let's get our green going here. But actually, before I get my green started, I want to get the gunmetal on these first couple of crates. And this right here. I really want this to have some level of detail, so it's not just all green, blocky looking. I want to have some distinction to it. So I'm going to color in latches. Yeah, and this would look so much better if I had sanded this down. In hindsight, I gotta redo this thing. I gotta really stop skipping the sanding part. Because not sanding is making this look a little bit rough than what it should look. I'm gonna add a little bit more detail to this crate. Ideally, I'm gonna get this spot. Right here. I'm gonna go ahead. Matter of fact, I'm gonna color that whole section in gray. Okay. Can I get that? I didn't think about where I put the bullet casing in. All these bullets I had to print individually and actually put them in here. Because I initially wanted this to print with bullet casings, but it did not. Oh, I'm gonna have to get in here and really detail how a lot of this is gonna look. In hindsight, what I should have did, I should have just made it with the two big ammo crates. I was like, man, I want to have a big one and a small ammo crate. I want that to be silver as well. Okay. Yeah, that's just from not sanding, because that could have been a little bit cleaner than what it looks. But it does add a little bit of flair, a little bit of flavor to it. That way it's not just bland, boring. So it's got some kind of life to it. Okay. So let's try to work. Gotta work this green onto here, onto the big cases now. Initially, we're gonna do that black and silver, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it military green. We get brush to use for this. My size 3 might actually get the job done. It'll give me good coverage without being too all over the place. Really what it's about. Alright. So let's try to work this brush right here with this green. I want to really make sure I get some of this brush. Okay. Oh yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. We already got the green coming through fantastically here. Look at that. But this is how it's supposed to cover. Yeah, I probably could have dry brushed most of this. It's laying down so smooth. It's still not quite as dark as I want it to be. But for what it's worth, it's going to be step for step, shade for shade. I definitely want to reprint this and do it like top down. There's some things I probably would do differently. As opposed to what I got going now. Yeah, we'll put just a couple of coats of this green down. I'm gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a bigger brush. Get a little bit more cover out of it. That way I don't have to keep running back and forth to my paintbrush so quick. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. See. Yeah, I like this hint of green. That looks so good. That looks really good. I kind of wish I'd have done the entire thing like that, because these crates probably won't be as heavily colored as the first two up front. Green is notoriously hard to get out of my brush. See if we can get this brush cleaned. All right, we got that clean. For right now, that's gonna do us pretty good. I want a dedicated brush for this green. I'm gonna go up a size. I'm gonna grab one of my really good brushes here. My size 4. And we're just gonna go straight in. Straight in. I'm gonna try my best to get this done before I have to go to work. Yeah, that's so much better on the coverage. Look at that green. That's perfect. That's a nice, healthy shade of green. Let's make sure we get all of this covered, including the base. A few spots up in here I really wish I could get a little bit better, but I'm going to clean that up with that metallic silver. Not too worried about that. Really want to make sure we get it covered. It's probably going to take a couple of passes. Let's see the difference between dry brushing and straight painting. I mean, it is evident. Okay. Let's paint out of here. See how light that tone is compared to that front crate. These front crates are super toned. And a little bit more. Trying to get the base of this crate. Look at that contrast. Look at the difference in that. A few passes with our dry brush. And now we got this worn down ammo crate look. Damn, that looks cool as shit. Compared to up front. This is kind of why I was such a fan of dry brushing. It just has a way of capturing detail in such a way. It has a way of capturing detail I feel like I can't get with just straight up painting. But that might just be a skill issue, and it probably is. I'll probably look back a year from now and be like, damn, I really was just on dry brushing. I do like dry brushing as my main technique. Look at that. That's such a nice, healthy shade. And again, with dry brushing, I can really get aggressive. Really just get in here. Yeah. Hindsight, I could have dry brushed this entire thing. In hindsight. But yeah, we got some detail here. I love this. Just for the simple fact that it's got a worn down army crate kind of look to it. It looks like it's been weathered. It looks like it's been sitting outside for a while. You see some of that black kind of shine through versus the crates up front. These are a little bit more vibrant. They're a little bit more brighter. I kind of, in hindsight, wish I'd have stuck to dry brushing that one out. But what can you do? I really want to remake this entire thing from the top down up. And I think at some point I will. Let's get back in here with some green. I think I'm gonna do 2 passes of pop. Really make sure I get the hues and the highlights right. And one of the weird things I've always noticed is that it doesn't always catch my shades. My dry brush. Yeah. Man, that's a really nice shade of green. Look at that. Yeah, it just looks like a worn down crate. Some of that black shining through really can be an awesome thing if you play with this and do this the right way. You can actually let that be a highlight or a detail versus it being a negative thing. I'm gonna hit it one more time. Really work this green in here. Really want to get the base. Really want to make sure I get that. Also need to start working the top. I'm gonna add some green here. And what I want to make sure I don't do is catch one of the bullets in this green. Gonna mess up the color altogether. So I'm gonna have to really work. Before I start adding more paint to the brush, go back in here, loosen that up a little bit. Try to get this paintbrush back to life. A little bit more paint. Yeah. Now we're getting some more coverage. Looks so good all the way around. Again, it just looks worn down and weathered. It looks a little bit more natural to me. And it's hard to beat that. I'm not gonna need that apple green. Okay. Hopefully I can get a lot of this done before work. I don't want this to be like a 50-part series. I don't. Let's wear this down just a little bit. Sure, I ain't got no paint goblins hiding in here. Gonna go ahead and start working the top of this well. Let's see the stark contrast between the straight painting and dry brushing. Oh, it is noticeable. And I fear that might make this look a little inconsistent across the board. That really is a genuine concern of mine. And I gotta stop switching up my technique mid-paint. And you also want to make sure this color is popping, not dropping. Okay. Okay. Let's work that out. Work the top of this right here. Don't want to get that on the bullet. Well, I just did. Did it twice. Oh, tip of that bullet's gonna be green. All right, we can potentially shot the Hulk or something. Again, it just has a nice, consistent, worn down look. It feels like I'm coloring in a coloring book with that white base, and then I'm coming back and adding this green to it. And you can see that highlight in those hues slowly building up, slowly building up. That's what we want. Expression of color. Yeah. And now it's starting to come together. Now we can actually see. The top is going to be the hardest part. don't want to hit the shell casings. Ooh. Damn, that looks dope. I kind of wish I had a dry brush the entire thing. In hindsight, it's like, fuck, I kind of wish I had a dry brushed everything. Okay. Okay. And I get right here around the shell casing. I really wish I could work that green. There. I mean, not green, but brown. There's some brown in here from where I did the shell casings. I don't know how well it's gonna really wash away. And in theory, yeah, I could probably get that with my paint markers. I don't know how well it's gonna actually add up. There's also a space in between these here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that. But we're gonna actually, yeah, I highly doubt I'm gonna get that. So I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I can. And back to our palette, we're gonna draw that out right back in here. Boy, this is beautiful work. Damn, son, this is fantastic. I'm gonna try to get the top of this crate a little bit more green. But I really don't think I'm gonna get it the way I want to. I might have to find a way to hide that brown. And we can see our colors build up as we paint over that white. That's why I like having a white base coat. Because it's almost like I'm actually coloring this thing in. And I can see it. It looks great. Oh man, it's like coloring in just a straight up picture. This is one of my favorite things I love about dry brushing. It does have a real genuine and natural look to it. As long as you do it and do it the right way. Let's see here. It does look really nice. Real nice, and man, that looks awesome. Matter of fact, let me hit the big light. Now we can actually see in detail. This is what we're on right now. That looks so cool. That looks awesome. Again, this is when Lady Deadpool's gonna stand. When it's all said and done, it's gonna be awesome. I still got some detail work to do on Lady Deadpool. We'll get back to that in just a bit. What I want to focus on right now is getting the base, just because there's not a whole lot to do. And I actually should be able to get this done relatively quickly. Yeah, I'm gonna go back over this with some more green. I really want to lay down that highlight and that hue. So I'm going over it with at least two rounds of dry brushing. Because the first couple of strokes here, it's going to come off a little yellow. So I keep going back and going over it twice to make sure that green really is greening. Building up my color palette here. A little bit more green here, buddy. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see how well this actually is going to come out. So yeah, we can see the difference between dry brushing and straight painting. That's a little heavier on the paint scheme. This came out just as good, but it looks a little bit more natural versus straight painting. Like there's almost a layer to it that makes it look natural. I feel like I'm coloring in a picture here versus trying to paint a picture. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I get this last little spot here. Work here. Yeah. I really want to make sure this greening. I'll work that right down here into the base. That. Not worried about hitting it with some green just because both of these crates are green. Some transfers over and it'll be alright. Reason number 3, I decided to make these all one cohesive color. Bam! So that looks fantastic. I'm gonna go over the top one more time. Really give it some love here. I really want to focus on getting the area around the bullet and that brown. Perfect. So I'm going to give this brush a quick bath and breather. Grab my metallic silver. I'm going to get in here and really detail this. Oh, swear to God, I need a better camera. Better camera mount. Oh no, I might have something. See if I can't get a better camera angle real quick. This is gonna drive me bananas. I really want these spam calls to stop. Maybe now that'll help. Again, this is kind of what we're working with here. I'm gonna see if we can get a full shot. How she's gonna look. Man, that's gonna be sick. That's gonna be awesome when it's all said and done. Then it's gonna be fire. Remarkable work. Let's get back to work here. Okay, before I do that, let me change up this water. Oh, my microphone's muted. Duh. Okay, metallic silver. Starting to fill in the details of this metal crate. Let's work this. Perfect. God, this is gonna be awesome. Bang. 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 I want to make sure I get all the little bumps in here. A little bit of silver. I really hate, I still just don't have a camera angle. I really get this so you guys can see what it is I'm doing here. No matter what, my hand's gonna be in the way. Really get all the areas that need to be silvered. Let's get the buckle right here. Yeah, that looks sick. Just for some detail and some life. I'm probably gonna redo this entire thing. Just keep the big metal crates in the background. Because that looks a lot more, I don't know, that just looks cool as shit. That looks a little bit more on point for what I want and what I'm looking for. Yeah. Alright, all we gotta do now is our other crate, detail that, color that in. Look at this. Like, this is awesome. Just the sheer level of detail we got out of that. That's perfect. Alright, so let's not gog too much at the work. Let's actually go to size 4. Let's get back into it. We gotta get our second crate. Then I gotta start doing the base on the bottom. I'm gonna do that in the gray just to make that look a little bit more concrete. Because this is supposed to be a concrete slab and she's walking down the street. So I want to make sure I keep that. I'm gonna try and brush out. Actually gonna go right back in, get a little bit more paint on it. Yeah. Green's looking green. I really gotta find a spot to put this camera. Hang on, y'all. I really want people to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Since there's no one here in chat, I might as well experiment a little bit with my camera. Okay. We're gonna get right in here with this green right up top. And again, we're gonna double coat that. Double coat it, double coat it, double coat it. It's all right. Awesome. Check my playlist. All right. Matter of fact, let's put this on. This is 3 hours. So we got a little bit of gray showing up here. A green. It's gonna take a couple of passes just to get this green to really settle in. Eight. Y'all know the routine. We're gonna paint it twice, make it look nice. Paint it twice so it looks nice. Let's do. See. Okay. Let's do this. I need more paint. Let's see. And some of this green. And again, man, oh man, if I had to sand this down, something proper, it probably would look a little bit cleaner. Boom, just back to back how that looks. Fantastic. Damn, that actually looks really good. Let's go back over to, yeah, let's make sure we get the black spot in the back. That random blotches where paint does not like to sit. And I'm not quite entirely sure why it does that. I feel like it's an oil slick or oil spot or something. Maybe my hands were a little bit oily. Today has been a disaster stream. No one come by. We got some top coverage here. And again, this is slowly building that color palette up, bit by bit, layer by layer. That's exactly what we want. Gives a sense of consistency. Gives a sense of just knowing for a fact I'm going to get the color that I need and the layers that I want. Probably going to need more. Again, we can see here as we paint, it's like coloring in actual photo. And this is what I love. This is why I always paint with a white base first, because I can actively see my colors like sitting down properly. Lady Deadpool, I probably could have done in a base white coat, just to make sure I can actually see as I'm painting her. Let me see, I'm gonna go back in here, wet my brush a little bit. Back in here, just access paint out. Okay. I'm gonna start working the top. So I want to make sure this is well covered. Okay. Okay, let's fucking go. We got a little coverage here. Damn, that looks good, dude. Ooh, looks fantastic. Damn, I like that. Okay. Let's see, we can't get the top of this bad boy covered now. The old dry brushing technician here. Some of this paint went on heavy in certain spots. Yeah, if I had have sanded this down, okay. Let's paint over the top of this. Let's see. Looks pretty good. Let's get back in here. I'm really trying to work this space here and not catch the bullets with this green. And that's probably the hardest part. Not catching a bullet with this green. And my paintbrush hair is getting all over the damn place. And that's tough number 2. Well, this looks good enough. Yeah, damn, that looks good. That looks fantastic. I'll never get over this one. This is gonna be great. It's not 100% perfect the way I was aiming for, but just for concept art, way better than I imagined. This was all just an idea in my head. And the fact that it is sitting right here in front of me right now is a real tangible thing. It's more miraculous than anything else. And the fact that I had the luxury painting this, making this real, in of itself is dope as shit. Me, AI or not, see. So I'm going to a little bit more paint. We're gonna come back, really get the front side of that. Once we get the second crate filled in, I can start doing the concrete on the ground. And man, the base of this thing is gonna be done. I might somehow finish this before lunchtime, which would be a Christmas miracle in and of itself. Again, this is kind of where we're at progress-wise. The ammo crates look awesome. The bullet casings look fantastic. I really wish I had to sand it down properly. Show it on the other camera, the top view. We got our bullet casings. This is clean. It is clean. It looks great. Let's finish the front of this bad boy off. I had to make a couple more passes on that, just so that green actually shows up. The next project is going to be our Tasmanian Devil. I'm actually going to live stream that, and then I'm going to do a very special stream behind the scenes, showing you guys how I make some of these models with AI from 2D to 3D image generator, and how I turn an idea and a concept into a real tangible physical thing. Because this was nothing more than the idea in my head, and with the help of AI and some other tools I have in my back pocket, I actually can make this real. And that's to me is the most fascinating part of this. This again was just an idea, a concept in my mind. And the fact that technology has gotten to a point where I literally am physically holding my imagination right now, I feel like that needs to be shared with a lot of people. A lot of people try to crap on AI and talk shit about this, that, and the third, but it's like, dude, I don't think you really understand how incredible some of this technology is. Because if you had told me I could do this 10 years ago, I would have never believed it. So I'm going to do a behind the scenes stream, and we're going to walk through my entire next project, start to finish. I've actually gotten permission from the artist that I got the concept art from to go ahead and make it a 3D model. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit of Dragon Ball Z fan art here next week. Boom. I like that. I like that. Bada bang, bada boom. My green and my white should be done. All right, we just got to fill in our details in the second crate. At the bottom of this bad boy with some gray, so that way it looks like actual concrete. Yeah. And the base will be done. The last thing I got to do for everything is finish it off with a gloss, which I have a spray paint can of gloss finish, which I'm going to use when it's all said and done. I'm probably going to gloss everything separately, then come back and super glue Lady Deadpool onto the base of this bad boy. Real quick, let's get just a quick look at hopefully what will be the final look for this model. I still got to figure out how I'm going to stand her up. Yeah. Guys, this thing's going to be sick. Her hair's a little bit bright, a little bit darker than what I got. But overall, I still like it. Damn, son. That is fire. I don't even know if anyone's here in chat to witness this, but this is going to be awesome. PPS, my commissions are open. I am actually taking requests. So if you got something you want made, I'm your guy. Dude, look at that. That is going to be fucking sick. That's going to be sick. I just got to figure out how I'm going to sit her down onto this base. Damn, that's fire, dude. All right, I'm going to stop glazing myself real quick. I really enjoy this. Let's add our detail to the secondary crate. Okay. I want to do all the little silver metal buttons up here. Okay. And I gotta really decipher which one of these are little metal buttons and not just some kind of deformity of the print itself. Needs a little bit more green down up in there too. I'm gonna go back with a smaller brush and touch that up. Again, these paint markers are 10 for 10, would recommend. Detail work, fantastic. They also do pretty good with just straight up doing the models. They do go straight on pretty well. I really like using these markers for just this type of thing. Detail work. Let's skip this bad boy right here. I'll let you guys see this when it's actually done. On back here, let me go ahead and get this buckle right here. Real detailed. Alright. Get this front buckle real nice and clean. Yeah, this printed with just a little bit more detail, and that's probably my only knock about using 2D to 3D detailing. I don't really have agency over the sheer level of detail. Now I could get in a blender and really start cleaning things up and making it a lot more detailed than what it actually comes out to be. That's a whole nother challenge in of itself. So let's get a quick update. Look at that. Look at that base. I technically could leave it white. I could leave it white and it could just look snowy. Well, I don't want to do that. Dude, look at the coverage on that. Look at the detail. Love it. Love that. One more time. Let's see what the entire thing is going to look like. That's going to be fucking awesome. That's going to be fantastic. Lady Deadpool's got a few things I need to clean up, which shouldn't take too long. Okay. I want to get the white in her eyes one more time. I feel like her eyes don't stick out the way they should. Let's go over this with the gray. So we'll basically be done with this. Okay. 2 seconds. I'm gonna wash my hands, change my water, be right back. All right, let's get it. Last stretch for this bad boy. We're basically almost done. Let's get our grade down for our base. Start coloring in this concrete. So that way this thing starts to look a lot more proper. Okay. I might actually finish this before lunchtime, which would be a testament of itself. Okay. Lock. And we're just gonna very gently go over this with some gray. Just so our base has that final touch of detail. Probably should have wetted my paintbrush just a little bit with some water. Yeah, right, so. Okay, we got that nice and dry. Again, working this bad boy in a circular motion. Don't know how well that's gonna pick up. You know what? Hang on. Swap. I got a better idea. I got a better brush for this. I got a better idea for this. Hang on. Let's go with size 5. Fresh out the box. I don't even know if I use this one yet. This one's fresh. What I want maximum coverage. That's better. Also would have helped if I had gotten this. I didn't really get the base covered very well. Which doesn't help. I did not cover this base very well, and probably should have went right back over this with some white, just to guarantee for a fact. Just to guarantee. Even though I'm going over this with the gray, kind of hard to tell. Excuse me. Yeah, it's hard to tell. You can kind of see. You can kind of see that it's grayed. I'm just gonna dry brush this as best as we can, though. I'll give me a good bit of paint this time around. I'm gonna brush. 5, check it, looks good. The problem becomes I can't get these extra hues, highlights, and whatnot out of here. I might actually need to go with a light gray. Make sure. really get this done and done right. And me being the stickler for detail, I know where I really need to clean myself up at and make this a lot more presentable than what I did. While it does look good, it's the minute detail that I fear the most. I did not do a good enough job with. Okay, let's do this. You know what? I'm having an epiphany here. Let's do something. What if I use my color markers to really fill out this gray? What if I use my color markers? I'm gonna do a little test jam here. Yeah. I feel like I can use my paint markers to really solidify this. And again, this is where I love having these bad boys in my back pocket. I feel like something like this, these paint markers actually would do pretty decent in. Now I can actually get in here and do detail. Yeah, so what if I use my paint markers? Just do my base coat here. And this is going to be really difficult. The biggest problem I have with my paint markers is I don't know how much actual paint are in these markers. I've really got to keep this from being a disaster. I don't want this to be too. And this is what I worry about with paint markers. These are really meant for small miniature figurines. I don't know how well they're going to hold up over a large surface like this. But I guess now's a decent time to look. I've already committed. Worst case scenario, I go back over it with a powder or gray and just kind of bring it back down. Yeah, I don't know how well I'm gonna cover, but we're gonna do what we can. Go back over some of this. What I'm gonna do is invoke the old technique and try to get this all going in one joint direction. I didn't do a good enough job sanding this, and it's starting to kind of come back and kick me in the butt. Yeah, that's gonna come back and kick me in the butt, and I did not sand this very well. And though this is good for small detail, yeah, I feel like this thing's already running out on me. Yeah, I might have to go back to the paintbrush. This might have actually been a bad idea in hindsight. Hindsight. Yeah, because this is not going to hold up very well. And I don't know what possessed me to think would hold up very well. Because I really should have stuck with the paint brushes. Yeah, stuck with the paintbrushes. Because you can actually see my color strokes here, which is a pet peeve of mine, which is why I like dry brushing, because I can be as liberal as I want when I'm laying down paint. This, you can actually see, like, okay, you want left to right, left to right, left to right. And that's one of the reasons why I never really got into painting, because it's so meticulous. And it felt like I had to be so spot on. There wasn't a whole lot of room for error. And this is giving me that same energy. Especially with this going on, the way that it's going on. This paint's wet. Okay. I'm gonna have to find a way to. Ooh, yeah, I don't think I got enough paint to really cover this entire base. So I might have to do some behind the scenes miracle work just to get this to really work out the way I want it to work out. Yeah, because I don't like that. So you can see every brush stroke in there. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna come back and actually dry brush that. But just for a base coat, just for what we're working with here, you can kind of see where I painted that, and I don't like that. I really don't. So I'm gonna go back and actually dry brush that with some gray and just a tick. See if I can actually bring that hue back down. I get rid of some of those paint marks. There we go. Ooh, what the fuck? That gray all in my. Hang on, chat. Real quick, right back. Paint all on me. I'm gonna see if I can't save this, because I might have gotten a little too ambitious with that. Paint markers. You know, I don't know if I can quite salvage this. Oh man. Yeah, you know, I can't rely on the paint markers to cover such a large area like that. And that's really gonna drop the quality a good bit, just because I can see all those paint lines in there where I try to color that in with the marker. And quite frankly, I might have to cope with it. I might have fucked it right at the end. The joy of being an artist and living, you learn. I might have cooked it at the very end. Yeah, you can kind of see where I colored that in, and I don't like that. I really just don't like that. I'm looking for a uniformal kind of just look. Hang on. I need a light gray, because this dark gray is not cutting it at all. So let's swap this out. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm choking so much. We are going to swap this out. Light gray, and see if we cannot save this. It will suck that come this far. I have a really presentable base. And that is, it's really the lifeblood of this model, is the base of this thing. I really need this to have really uniform look. And gotta make sure I get the side of this bad boy too. Really want this to look like a slab of concrete. Really need to keep that look going. Okay. Matter of fact, just give me a whole swath of gray. I will. Okay. Need a little bit more. Yeah, I should have sanded down the base of the bad boy a little bit more. Obviously, I want to get this side with this light gray. This light gray really should have been what I led with. I know better, but I got a little ahead of myself. I started thinking, how do I want to cover so much space versus, hey, let's just get it right. One thing about art is you gotta be patient. Unfortunately, your boy is not notoriously known for patience. But I'm gonna have to learn. I want to get really good at this. Yeah, I should not have tried to outright paint this. Now it's gonna look all sorts of ways. I don't think I can cope this away. Yeah, next time I make this, because I do have an extra Deadpool figurine back here in the background. She just needs a base. I think I might actually go ahead and do that one too. Just for shits and giggles. Alright. So we got our base done. I'm going to call that. It does look pretty solid. Not as clean as I initially intended for that gray. But it's good enough. So we got that. I'm going to set that in the background. Actually get our lady Deadpool here. Got to clean up her shoes. And like one or two more things. This basically will be done. I just got to figure out how exactly I'm going to mount this thing to the base. So one more time, let's get a really good look. I mean, for the most part, this is about how I envisioned it. There was a little bit more detail, but I mean, this is fantastic. I really just need something for her to stand on and to figure out how exactly she's going to stand. I'm thinking about that. I don't want her too far forward or too far back. Damn, I like that. I really like that. That's solid. Let's do our last bit of detail work on the Deadpool. This bad boy will basically be done. She does look solid. On her own, I love this. Yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that. Overall, it came out pretty good. Let's go over some more minor details. Let's get her eyes. That way. That flat white in there one more time. All right. We got that. Let's go back over with a flat black. Colors. This my flat black? It's a flat. Hold up. Is this not? Boy, that almost ended in disaster. That was not my flat black. I'm like, that don't look like black. Okay. Yeah. I got it right back in her damn eye. Over her eye. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about her shoot too much. I did want to kind of go back over that, but okay. I gotta wait for that black to dry before I try to go back in there with that. Let's try this gun metal right here. Up, so a little bit of touch-up work on this. Alright. Let's fucking go. I like this shit. I think we're basically done. We got Lady Deadpool. We got the ammo crate base for her to stand on top of, guys. There's nothing left to do besides actually put this bad boy together and actually put her physically on here, which I'm going to step off camera and do that in just a bit. I do got to get me some lunch and start getting myself ready for work. For the most part, I think we came off pretty good. Some minor details, clean. I can go back over that on cam. But guys, one more look. Stay tuned. I'm gonna post the final when it's all said and done. Once I get everything glued and put together, let you guys actually see it. Stay tuned to my YouTube stories, TikTok. I'll have all this stuff posted. Thank you guys so much for joining. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do a special stream. I actually have a commission I need to do, and I'm actually getting paid for it, so I'm gonna start doing it. We're gonna do this Tasmanian Devil here, and then I'm gonna show you guys sometime this week when I get ready for this weekend's project, how I make my 2D to 3D mesh models. I can't guarantee I'll be back tomorrow, but I will be back no later than Saturday this weekend when I'm off. And we'll do a live stream and we'll kind of go from there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Again, I will be posting some finals of Lady Deadpool when she's actually done and completely put together. Until next time, happy painting. Enjoy your week. Stay warm. Hug your parents. All that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.